Do you like dinosaurs? What about time travel? What about sci-fi silliness? Then do I have a show for you. This show had it all. Dinosaurs, time travel, romantic tension, and whatever this thing is. But I don't see it getting mentioned when people discuss sci-fi shows of old. Primeval ran for 5 seasons, spawned a spin-off show, and might just be the best UK sci-fi show most people have either never heard of or simply forgotten about. Strange creatures begin appearing all over the country, and when I say all over, I mean within a convenient driving distance of where all our characters just so happen to be based. A lovable ragtag team is needed to investigate these mysterious anomalies that are ripping through time and space, allowing literal dinosaurs to roam around the modern world. Our adventure kicks off when full-time conspiracy theory enthusiast and part-time genius, Connor approaches his university professor with a story about a creature sighting he wants to investigate. But the prof is having none of it because he is a serious business evolutionary zoologist. That is, until Connor mentions that the creature was spotted in the Forest of Dean, which is where the professor's wife mysteriously disappeared 8 years ago. Played by stage and screen legend Douglas Henshaw, the professor is Nick Cutter, which is a 10 out of 10 name for a protagonist. Dougie brings an understated gravitas to the character of Nick Cutter that works really well. I would totally follow him through a pile of mysterious, shiny, floating crystal fragments of time and space to fight dinosaurs. Hannah Spirit of S Club 7 fame plays reptile expert Abby. Whilst investigating a report of a strange lizard, she teams up with Cutter and Connor, but not before discovering the best and most important character of the show, Rex. Rex escapes a government lab to the best stock rock music you've ever heard. He dances, he gets quality reaction shots, and I can't believe that I never bought this soft toy back in the day. Of course, as the team investigates, the government gets involved, which is where we meet the last member of the main gang, who has a very bold introduction to Cutter. Claudia Brown works for the Home Office and is how the gang gain lots of official resources like this army of red shirt soldiers. Claudia's boss Lester is the kind of civil servant asshat who worries about budgets and optics. He's that character who tries to stop all the time-hopping fun that we came to see. We shouldn't like him, but he's played by the impeccable Ben Miller. The sass, the panache, the quality of line delivery. We're left with no choice but to stan.
Yeah, bitch, work.
And then there's Helen, Cutter's long-lost wife. As the first episode ends, Helen sneaks into Cutter's office and lays one of those wee swirly fossil things you always got in the gift shop at the end of a school trip. Only it's alive because, you know, time travel. Cutter runs after her and she allows him a very brief glimpse before disappearing again. This poor man hasn't seen her in 8 years, thought she was dead, and instead of reuniting with him, she messes with his emotions.
I'm the bad guy. Duh.
Off topic, but Juliet Aubrey, who plays Helen, and Ben Miller, who plays Lester, now star together in Professor T. They have amazing romantic chemistry in that show and can't stand each other in this one.
Acting.
Oh yeah, and Stephen is there for some reason. He's meant to be pretty one, I think, or like the muscle, I don't know. I have no hate for the actor James Murray at all, he's always solid in everything he's in, but the character of Stephen makes some choices which make me want to lock him in a room with a bunch of hungry dinos. His one redeeming feature is that he owns the Spice Girls mug. Apart from the amazing cast and the lovable and interesting characters, Primeval delivered what I think is the most vital ingredient for a classic sci-fi show, and that is a large portion of cheese. The basic monster of the week romp, but with dinosaurs formula, is brilliant. What's not to love about a raptor fucking up a John Lewis department store? Where's everyone's grandma gonna shop now, Raptor? Another important element for a genre show is the ship, because shippers gonna ship. Connor likes Abby, Abby likes Stephen for a bit, Cutter and Claudia's chemistry is off the scales, but he's still all emo about Helen. There's even a bit of UST between Lester and the future Predator. What? Don't ship shame me, okay? I think they'd be great together. Back in 2005, the BBC started dominating the family-friendly viewing market in the UK with its revival of the Doctor Who series. Seeing the success that the show afforded the BBC, one of the other major networks, ITV, decided that they wanted a show to sell action figures and t-shirts off of too. Primeval debuted in 2007, which was a strange year for the Doctor Who revival. We got absolute turds like Dalek in Manhattan and the evolution of the Daleks.
What is it?
I am a human Dalek.
Really? Really? But we also got the amazing two-part classic Human Nature and the Family of Blood, the debut of John Sims' rendition of The Master, and the introduction of the Weeping Angels in what is quite possibly one of the best episodes of Doctor Who ever, Blink. Putting a brand new unestablished show up against this titan of an intellectual property didn't seem like a good idea at the time, and with years of hindsight seems even more stupid now. Going back to rewatch this show after, what, a decade? No, it can't have been that long, surely. It was just as much of a fun ride as the first time. Some of it hasn't aged that well, like Abby often seems to be in just her underwear. There is an in-world reason for her to not be wearing much, but there was no need for the camera to follow her around like that. This was 2007, not 1977. Sadly, the show was never released in high def, so the quality here doesn't look great, but I think the graphic effects still hold up pretty well, for a family sci-fi show that aired around dinner time on ITV in the aughts. This show was a lot of fun, the chemistry between the main cast worked, it had a really cool concept, and the story struck just the right balance between light-hearted and scary that's needed for successful family-friendly science fiction. When comparing it to the history, pre-existing fanbase and quality of Doctor Who, ITV was setting this show up to fail from the off. Despite this, the ratings were good and there was a dedicated fandom for the show online. But ultimately, the show didn't survive the battle against Doctor Who or the major cast changes it went through. Primeval was great, you should watch it if you haven't. It had the potential to be an amazing franchise, and it's just sitting there waiting to be rebooted for a brand new audience.
Shut up and take my money!
But those are just my thoughts on the matter. Feel free to tell me yours in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching.